I had been waiting to watch Hereditary for a while. I loved this movie so much that I had to write a rave review on it. Plus any movie that has Toni Collette, I could not miss. She's fantastic in Muriel's Wedding, which by the way, has the most misleading movie trailer and poster in cinematic history. Since I have a poor tolerance to the horror genre and a vivid imagination that tends to traumatize me by imagining creepy clowns smiling from behind, in mirrors and demons standing silently in dark corners. Hereditary is a movie that pushes the boundaries of what horror is. It analyzes a dysfunctional family dealing with death and allows the audience to watch these people slowly disintegrate as grief overtakes them. If you are going into this movie expecting it to be a typical horror film, you will be sorely disappointed. Hereditary is terrifying because it shows believable horror as though it were a true story. From the opening shot, you are hooked in. I loved how the camera zoomed in on the creepy miniature house and then enters the son's bedroom. The significance of the opening shot is that all the family members are just little mannequins and totally helpless to the sinister design in store for them. They have absolutely no agency. This is a movie that requires your full attention to all the little details that pay off later. The acting is phenomenal. Everyone pulls their weight. The beauty about the acting is that you truly empathize with the characters and you care about what happens to them. There are no expendable characters, which is always the case in horror movies. Someone's got to die early, unnecessarily, usually due to their own stupidity, simply to raise the stakes in this movie. If a character dies, it makes sense, and that's why it's devastating. Toni Collette hands down deserves an Oscar. The weight of Annie's relationship with her twisted mother, her obsession with her miniature artworks, the difficult relationship with her son Peter, and the painful family history of family members dying violently. It's a lot to portray, and Toni Collette communicates the descent of a woman slowly losing her mind, effectively. I would call this movie the Shining of the 21st century because of the similar thread it shares with Kubrick's masterpiece, that being the horror established by these movies is mainly psychological with the addition of supernatural elements. Another similarity between both movies is that the audience is introduced very early on to shocking details. In The Shining, Jack Nicholson's character is told how the previous caretaker of the Overlook Hotel developed cabin fever and killed his family, indicating to the audience that Jack would follow the same path. In Hereditary, a very disturbing event occurs in the first half of the movie. Now, for the audience, it is a matter of watching how the horror unfolds in both movies, as opposed to when. This, of course, we find out later, is that the mother, being the queen of a death cult, was trying to create a perfect vessel for the demon Payman to enter. Payman needs a male host preferably, which explains Annie's comment about her brother's claims and why she raised Charlie as a boy. Charlie is, for all intents and purposes, the spirit of Payman put into human form, and when she dies in the movie's most shocking moment, Payman has nowhere to go, for a time. So the cult worships Payman, and Annie and her family are unwitting pawns in her mother's posthumous plan to bring about this particular demon. When we see the strange ring of light appear and disappear and move in front of Annie and Peter, this can be read as Payman attempting to weaken or control them, as it indeed does on a couple of occasions, notably the scene with Peter in class and with Annie at the end of the movie. As the movie is called Hereditary, there are obviously familial ties at the forefront of everything. Charlie's head gets cut off, so the body of the grandmother placed in the Graham's attic by the cult members is likewise decapitated, and Annie, while possessed beyond hope, is seen floating in the rafters and cutting her own head off, the moment that's given me the most nightmares. This is symbolic of the head actually being that of Payman, with no other head required. When Peter jumps out the attic window after seeing these horrific things and the nude cultists, he effectively dies, allowing Payman or Charlie to possess his body, moving the crown from Charlie's head on the altar to Peter's. As for others, critics have had my general opinion. They enjoyed it and view it as a work of high art, an instant classic. Regular audiences, on the other hand, have pretty much hated it. I have an answer on why there is such a divide between the two on my profile that goes into some detail, so I won't put it here.